Alright, so hopefully today's reel makes things less confusing for some people and not more. I've been getting some really great comments that I'm excited to see. But out of curiosity, so like 60% of y'all said yesterday that you have an anterior pelvic tilt, and 25% of you said that you have a posterior pelvic tilt. So just out of curiosity, I want to do the same poll again and see if the numbers come out any differently, if anybody changes their mind. But my point is not really to stir the hornet's nest. I don't care if you agree with me. I don't care if we call it the same thing. That's not important at all. But what is important is that we consider which way we're going and why. So, like, just a little bit of insight into how my brain works. Like, if we're considering pelvis motion and we want to change pelvis motion, we need to understand what the role of the hips is, who's working in the back, which muscles are working in the front. So to change what's going on at the pelvis, we need to consider what's going on with the pelvic floor and what's going on with the hips, and in which direction you're tight so that we know which direction to change. Whereas if the issue is coming from higher up in your spine, then we need to consider more of what's going on in the muscles around your spine and probably in your abs, and which way are they going, so that we can create the right amount of change or the right direction of change there. So I use the analogy a lot, like I live 30 minutes from the beach. If you and I are both planning a trip to the beach, I'm going to get in my car and I'm going to drive 30 minutes due east and I'm going to be at the beach. But I live in Virginia Beach. If you live in Kansas, those same directions aren't going to work for you. So we have to know where we're starting from to know where we're going. And that's the whole point of this post, is that if you think you're starting from a different place than you're actually starting from, it's going to be a lot harder to get there. It doesn't matter how you call it, it matters where you are. And just as a case in point, a special thank you to the mama who inspired me to write this post. She shared in my comments, and I pinned it to the top, so go and read it if you have a chance. But she shared in the comments about how this change in how she thinks about her pelvis position has changed her pain and her symptoms. And so it can be, in certain cases, a really, really important consideration. And one last thing to give credit where credit is due. This is not my description of pelvic tilt. This is something that I learned from Julie Wiebe, who has been an absolute game changer in my life, in my understanding of the pelvic floor, in my understanding of my own body, in my understanding of how I work with other mamas. So this is information that I learned from her. And if you're not learning from Julie Wiebe, you should be.